You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments, ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR, practice management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company, attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. OmniWave, redefining comfort and acoustic wave technology. The Chiro Hustle Podcast is sponsored by Chiro Health USA, ChiroScript AI, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 740 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we have the opportunity of interviewing Chris Cannaverde. And if you want to hear our conversation about saving people from drugs and surgery, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. Today it's episode 740, and I have Chris Cannaverde on with me. His company is R3COVR.co. Check him out. Recover. Lots of great things that this man is doing to help support the chiropractic profession. Once again, check out his website. It's on the ticker if you're watching this on video. It's under his name, his name badge, and he's got the hat on to support the brand too. Before we get into this episode, I want to let you know our big why. Why do we do what we do over here at Chiro Hustle? Well, first things first is we believe in medical freedom and freedom of speech. We also believe in family health freedom. If you're looking for guidance on any of these topics, reach out to a chiropractor in your neighborhood or city. It's going to pay dividends for you. Philosophically speaking, we believe in protecting BJ Palmer's sacred trust. What is that? If you don't know what that is, go to the show notes and check it out. Click on BJ Palmer's sacred trust. It's his last words, and we have to guard it well. We also believe in subluxation-based chiropractic. I know I shouldn't have to say this, but they're removing this out of the colleges, and they're not teaching this anymore. They're not teaching philosophy as well as they used to. So please share the show. If you know a chiropractic student or a new grad that needs to hear more about philosophy, share Chiro Hustle with them. It's chirohustle.com. Lastly, we believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence and the educated intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical, gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. And with that, that creates the educated intelligence. And this is episode 740, Chiro Hustle Podcast. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jim. I'm happy to be here.
Origin story. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the chiropractic space.
Let's see. Well, when I was in my early 20s, I got into the health and fitness space as a personal trainer. So that's where I kind of got involved with that industry. And, after a few years, I owned my own personal training studio. It was going well, but I kind of hit my ceiling in that space and knew I needed to kind of look outside of that. So after I sold the company, I decided to get into medical device sales. So I knew there was a bigger ceiling and I'd have a lot more reach on providers and be able to kind of have my impact there. After a few years with that, I got more into the med legal space and started working with conservative care providers such as chiropractors and physical therapists. I connected with a few chiropractors that really kind of shaped where I was going with my path, that had similar ideologies as myself. Ideally, we're finding non-surgical, non-narcotic solutions to help with pain management, whether it be a acute injury or chronic pain. We're all on the same page. We're trying to find different modalities to help with that. So that's kind of where I'm at now. And I work with other providers too, such as orthopedic surgeons and spine surgeons. But I would say right now I'm really focusing on the chiropractic space.
Well, I think there's a lot of people out there looking for durable medical equipment, and a lot of them don't know who to choose. So I think it's really cool that you're joining on with Chiro Hustle as a sponsor and allowing us to start opening some doors for you to grow your business and to reach out to the market. I guess this leads me into trying to understand from your background and your working in the chiropractic space so far, who would be your ideal client to work with?
So for us, we don't like to say clients as much as partners because ideally we're doing this together with the same goal. Our company wants to partner with providers who are open-minded and forward-thinking, but also truly care about the patient results. I don't want to come off as like a threat to what they're doing chiropractic wise, like anything they're doing there. But I think it's a great complementary device as we'll talk more about the device itself, but to help their patients have a portable take home therapeutic device that they can, utilize, for hours every day, depending on, what the situation is, so.
Yeah. Ideal partnership. I think that sounds
Oh yeah.
good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would say, open-minded, forward-thinking for sure, and then definitely in tune with some of the advanced technologies that are coming out nowadays. So I've met with chiropractors who, stick to the stuff that they learned 30, 40 years ago, and maybe they don't want to, listen to some new stuff, but the ones who are really seeking, more solutions and keeping their eyes out are the ones that I typically like to work with.
Well, I loved your brand when I met you in Las Vegas, and you had my whole team try it out. And one of the things I was chatting with you about is when you give people something like this to use, it can help their bodies get better faster.
Correct.
And I think that that's a really important thing for people to take away and to connect with Chris about, is because we're all interested about patient outcomes. We want people to have better activities to daily living, and outcome analysis is if somebody's not, they don't feel good, then they're probably going to be a pain in, to you also.
Correct.
So it's important to start getting people what they need to start getting their bodies to heal quicker. And obviously, as you mentioned, we're on the same page together. We don't want people to take more pills, potions, and lotions. The pharmacological approach is usually a downstream effect of negativity. And when somebody can use more of a passive modality that you have that helps people in any situation, any time of the day, whenever they might need it, they can utilize it. So the technology that you're using, let's explain to our audience a little bit about it.
Of course. So the main technology in this device is PEMF technology. I'm sure you heard of it. It's pulse electromagnetic frequency technology. There are a tremendous amount of clinical studies, not just for, like sports injuries or soft tissue injuries, but also for like overall wellness. So it's a frequency that helps drive blood flow and activate your body's natural ability to heal as well. So with our device, it's a low level too. It's not like the PMF machines that you'll see in clinic. There's no way we can harness that much power. But if they're able to use it, 2-3 hours a day, pretty consistently, they're getting a lot of treatment with that. What's great is it also complements any type of treatments too. So I even have some chiropractors that utilize it prior to doing adjustments because it helps loosen up the area, and it has a natural anti-inflammatory ability as well. So then, since the back's not as locked up, it's a little looser. So then they can get some manual adjustments and do the things that they want to do and have a little more freedom with that.
Well, I think the whole factor is getting less inflammation into the joints. Mm-hmm. And I saw that you guys had different styles of, equipment. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about the different types of take-home equipment that people can get from you.
Yeah, so we have a design in multiple wraps that fit anatomically to each body part. So our most popular ones, and not most popular, but the ones that we utilize the most with patients is the lower back, because I'm sure everyone knows or has lower back pain themselves, but we have that one that just wraps around the waist, and then we have one that goes over kind of like a backpack and addresses the cervical and upper back and traps area, shoulder, knee. We have a wrist as well, but it can also be utilized for other extremities. So we have the wrist device that can go right on the wrist for like maybe a carpal tunnel, but can also go up towards the forearm for golfer's elbow, tennis elbow. to the tricep, but we also utilize it down like the Achilles area and the like under the foot for like plantar fasciitis.
Well, I think that, just understanding a little bit about the suite of product that you have is really important for people to know. When I tried it out, I tried the one for my shoulder, and I think I tried the one for my back. I could do them simultaneous.
Correct.
So if somebody had multiple purpose needs, you could have people doing the PEMF is what I call it, PEMF treatment at multiple locations at once too, which I think is very unique about the product and the product suite is honestly, I felt like they heated up a little bit too.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. It also has a therapeutic heat as well. So just heat in itself can help, relieve some tension too, but it also helps drive blood flow. So we've noticed that the combination of the PEMF and the heat will be the best, but there are some times where it's really hot out and you don't want the heat on and you don't want to be like kind of sweating back there. So there's a setting where you can just do PEMF. So there's heat only, which no one really uses, PEMF only, and then the last setting is PEMF in heat, which is the primary one.
Yeah, so you can toggle off each therapy. So
Correct.
You can do the PEMF therapy in conjunction with the heat, or you can do the heat and not the PEMF, or you could do the PEMF and not the heat. So
Correct.
Really cool that there's options, and it's very mindful approach to getting people to get some relief. I think that's a really cool thing. Improving patient results. How have you seen what you're doing, helping, I guess, build trust in the marketplace and getting some results?
Yeah. So for building trust, we kind of let the product speak for itself. So I have a lot of providers that are using it and are happy with it, but there are a lot of providers that maybe don't really believe in it or they think it's snake oil. And what I usually do is like, hey, why don't you, identify two or three of your patients that maybe are not like they're tough patients, but it's been tough to kind of get them better, and they might have like recurring pain and things of that nature. So more like chronic pain type of patients. And I was like, why don't we just try it on those? And if we can work on those, then maybe you'll be, sold on it in terms of trying it with some other patients as well. So that's how we typically do it. We let the product speak for itself because I can pull up all the clinicals, I can discuss it. It's hard to, you got to see it work in action, right? So that's typically the route we go. We don't try to, oversell or anything like that. We just, present it properly and then, let them give it a go. And whether it's a provider, we work heavily in the med legal space too. I get into attorneys, and I let the product speak for itself.
Well, I really believe that when people have patients that need an extra something, and you don't want to go out there and spend the big bucks to bring in an in-house like therapy inside the office, you can actually get people to take the therapy with them on the road and at home. And I do believe that there's a lot of people out there that are they don't want to be in the clinic longer, but they have a 20 to 30 minute drive somewhere, and they can strap this thing on their low back and get some therapy while they're on their move. Or they might have a busy life where they're traveling a lot, or they're in the airplanes, or they're in Ubers, or whatever it is. And they can take something like this and put it on their elbow when they're going to go to a golf outing or something.
100%. Yep.
There's a lot of application, as even if you're active out there doing it and you got like a sore knee and you're out there like hiking on a trail, you can put this thing on and actually like go out there and get more active and not just be laid up using the stuff too. It's a very active modality tool.
Correct. And we believe that, movement is medicine, right? Like if you're injured and you're just really like just I understand you got to rest sometimes too, but if you're really just not moving, like, and I get it too. Sometimes, you tweak your back and you really can't move. But if you can just get up and moving, get the blood flowing, get the body, back in motion, like things are going to get better, obviously it's something really terrible and yeah, you got to rest and stuff like that. But, we truly believe we want to get people back to activity, because if we can get them back to activity, then we think that there's actually a higher chance of, relieving their pain and getting back to function. So,
well, I think it's really cool that you're looking into the future and adding in modalities into people's lives and not keeping them at the clinic longer and giving them resource and access to things that they can take and have a busy life and enjoy their busy life. Talk to me a little bit about the take home device and like why it would be important for people to get one of these things and not have to spend more time at the clinic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not like I want to remove people from the clinic either. I just think that it's a really good add-on to continue care too. And maybe instead of the person going 2 times a week for 4 to 8 weeks, maybe they're once every 2 weeks, like forever, because that's something that you can maintain. But also with the use of this device, it kind of works together, So that's what I want to kind of like drive home, is that it could be like more for like a long-term play,
Mm-hmm. And it does improve in patient results. And like, that's the thing, is patient compliancy goes up, patient outcomes goes up. And the really cool thing is you say that you have all the research and the studies showing people like the science behind the products also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing about PEMF is it's not like a brand new technology either. It's just we're the ones that were able to harness it and put it into like a portable wrap. There's so many good studies at the frequency that we have that have proven some soft tissue healing. And even with other, it works well with, there's like studies with physical therapy, studies with like a PRP injection. So there's like a lot of studies of them utilizing it with something else for maximal results,
Mm-hmm.
And we think that, results will end up bringing more business to people as well. Like if you go to your chiro and, you're getting treated every now and then, and you get this device that he suggested or he or she suggested, you're going to get better feedback. And then it's just going to improve reputation because, the goal is to get people better.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments, ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR, practice management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company, attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. OmniWave, redefining comfort and acoustic wave technology. The Chiro Hustle Podcast is sponsored by Chiro Health USA, ChiroScript AI, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. Let's hustle. Yeah, it says here, Chris remains committed to finding effective, accessible solutions that support long-term wellness and recovery. And I think, based on that simple sentence, that means a lot because you are interested in making sure that people get their lives back.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the thing is about like our device that is a little bit different than other devices. And I'm not even, there's some really good devices out on the market too. Like, there's some really good like TENS units and then other therapeutic wraps that utilize, heat and then maybe vibration. You'll see those on like a lot of like pro athletes and stuff like that. Those are all great products too. And I use them too. But just with this device, since it's using a technology that actually is trying to heal you versus just maybe like temporary relief pain or mask it, we're trying to go for a long term of like, let's see if we can actually try to heal the area versus just putting something on that will just maybe relieve pain or block pain signals or something like that.
Yeah. If I get to know the product better, it's not like people are using this as an expensive Advil. They're using this as a recovery tool, which is in the name. And I think that if people understood that, I don't want people to use chiropractic as an expensive Advil either.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to use it as a recovery modality.
Correct.
And a wellness model.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, maybe people come in as a patient and their frequency is a little bit more as they start to, get through that trauma or the injury or the pain cycle. But as they go through and they become established, now this is something that can give them the ability to work with that office or that clinic and get care frequently, but it doesn't have to be as like 3 times a week at that point. Maybe somebody comes in every 2 weeks or once a month, and then they can use this tool with them throughout that time when they're not getting direct care from the clinic too.
Correct.
Any success stories that you could share with us about how it's actually helped people?
Yeah, I have a few. I know Dr. Cameron Hall up in Westminster. So He was one of the providers that I did kind of the same thing when I first got introduced to him. I told him about the devices, and he's into the new technology as well. And if you've been to his clinic, you've seen all the different lasers that he has, all the new toys that he's working with, and he has the pulse wave, which is a great modality as well. And he had a patient that was a teacher who had chronic back pain, and like I said, I'll let me try it on one of your tougher, cases. So she utilized it. She had phenomenal feedback. She said it really helped her get through the day because she's on her feet all day as well, and her back starts to act up and tighten up. And then she says she wears it, virtually every day to get through the day, and it relieved a lot of pain. And I think she stopped taking Advil and things of that nature. So that's one of the stories that I really, resonated with, and that's exactly what we want to hear too. Not just to feel better, but we want to make people feel better and get through their day, because just like the mental aspect, if you're going to work or anything and you just know you're in for a long day, and it just like alters like your mental state too,
For sure.
Just by having something that, I'm not saying that it made it completely pain-free or anything like that, but it took the edge off enough where, she didn't have as much misery throughout the day. We have another story of, so again, we're in the med legal space as well. Bad car accident, patient, horrible whiplash, could barely move their back, barely move their neck. So we were able to get 2 devices on this individual, and it said that they relieved so much pain. They were crying every day, and then they were taking a ton of Advil, and maybe even a stronger medication as well. I can't remember, but just by using that, it was able to like take the edge off and help and get them back active. And like I said, that's kind of the goal, is get them moving again.
Well, I think these stories really matter because these are people's moms. These are people's husbands and wives and kids. And that's who really chiropractors take care of. They take care of families.
Mm-hmm.
And I know just psychologically, when one person's nervous system isn't functioning and firing at a high level, it's going to have an effect on everybody else in the household.
Correct.
So if we can speed up somebody's nervous system healing with modalities and functional therapy, then it's going to give people a better quality of life, and it's going to actually heal the whole family unit.
100%.
I think that's a part a lot of people don't really key in on,
Mm-hmm.
is when there's somebody that doesn't feel good in the family unit, it affects everybody.
Of course.
So your equipment can actually make everybody heal a little bit faster, and not just the individual with their own performance of what they're doing. It actually mends some fences within everybody else's suffering within the household too. So I think that's really cool. Let's talk business now.
Okay.
Business for chiropractic, business for injury cases, businesses with your relationship with providers. How does it help people make more money? Let's just go to that route first.
Yeah. So we'll start on the cash pay side versus the personal injury medical med legal side. So we created a structure where we have, I guess you can call it, affiliate links with providers as well. So we would give them the information on the product, and if they felt like there was a patient that could benefit from our device, we're able to cut them 25% off the total cost, or like as an affiliate commission, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's a good way for them to also, make some money with the device as well, while giving the patient a good take home.
Well, I look at it from this perspective. The practitioner is going to give them something.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to make a little fraction of the action when they do a sale and they provide something to somebody, it just makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
You could send a patient to, Walgreens and pick up a TENS unit or something, or you could send them to a CVS, but that they're not getting a high quality level of therapeutic device.
Exactly.
They're getting something. I mean, it's just not as good. That's all I can say. And they're not getting any like kickback financially for sending somebody to one of those big box medical stores.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is cool that the practitioner keeps a little bit of the money in their pocket too.
Mm-hmm.
now talk a little bit about working with the accident injury model and how this can help with the chiropractor's bottom line.
Yeah, of course. So it's a similar model, but there's the money in the med legal space is a little bit different, right? The code that we bill is in accordance with a work comp or VA fee schedule. So it's a good reimbursing product. So we have multiple ways of helping this is why we call it a partnership model versus a client, because we can set up a MSA agreement where we're providing the device and the service and the delivery to the patient. And then as the settlement comes in, or if we are able to, partner with a lien company, that the provider would actually keep the rest. We have a lot of providers that also will just buy the product wholesale and then bill it on a lien. And then when that settles, they'll get a good chunk of change. So I typically leave it up to the provider. I'll present all the different options and stuff of that nature. But, that's why, it's like a partnership model. We're willing to kind of, negotiate and work through and see what makes sense in your practice. And we try to do it where there's really like a no upfront cost too, as well. Like, not many groups are buying them like wholesale. They're more of like kind of partnering up with us so that they can, reap the benefits economically as well. But we're working together to get these devices on patients to help them heal. So,
well, it sounds to me like you understand the injury business quite well.
Yeah, very well. I've been doing it for quite a while, and that's really how I got transitioned into chiropractic. Because working with attorneys and providers, and then just seeing like what I love about personal injury, and I know some people have like a bad taste in their mouth about it, but the provider can really do what they actually think is necessary versus they don't have to follow any healthcare guidelines or anything like that, in terms of like they're not like restricted by insurance. Like, oh, I would love to use this, but your insurance doesn't cover it. So that's the problem with like commercial payers and our traditional like insurance companies. Is just that they're kind of guided, and there's like some sort of formulary that will guide towards medications or like a cortisone injection, which I know for certain cases those are necessary, but there's a lot of things out there that aren't covered by insurance. And as long as they're clinically effective and regulated and things of that nature, these providers can use it. So I see a lot of some of the top doctors that will go into the personal injury space just because they can do what they actually feel like is necessary. Like, that's why they went to school. That's why they're doing this, so that they can choose, they can do their research and decide what they actually think will work. So that's what guided me there, because I was doing a ton of insurance stuff, and it was just tough because every quarter Medicare changes this and things of that nature. So yeah.
Well, you saw where the gaps were in the business model.
100%.
And you saw what was actually being provided to the providers for the people that were damaged and injured. And you said, well, this is going to be a solution. Aha. I have something now. So you used your business mind and your physical fitness brain. And you said, well, if we provide this is actually going to be a great product for people.
Correct.
And you saw what was out there in this business model and what was lacking. And I think that that's a really cool thing, is you've innovated into a space that was already in existence. And you said, well, if we do it this way, it's going to help people better. And I think that that's one of the things that I picked up from you when we first met up, was like, he's actually figured out a new thing, working in an old model that's actually giving people more relief than what people were doing beforehand. And it's actually effective. And that's what I think everybody's looking for. I'll say it time and time again, most people just don't know where to go or who to trust for business. So if people started working with you and they started to get to know you and they were saying, hey, we're looking to do this, you'd be actually a great consultant for them too, and saying, look, you might want to consider doing this to get more revenue with this type of a case. And not only is my equipment going to help, but you might want to consider these 2 to 3 key connections I can make for you too, which I think is an up level of doing business with a guy like you.
That's 100% true. And that's what I'm going for too, because I've worked with more clinics than most people, so I've seen a lot of business operations and a lot of ways to doing things. I know, not like I know it works, but I get to see what's been successful and not successful. And when I work with someone, again, that's why I call it a partnership. Like, I want to see who I'm working with succeed. Because also it ties into, if they're doing well, they're going to see more patients, and then more patients will in turn get better because of what they're doing, because obviously, patient care outcomes are number one, but you also need a revenue source to be able to expand and scale and hire enough, team members. So I kind of see it as like a huge, like a big picture. And again, not like I'm going to go in and tell someone they're doing their business wrong, but if I've seen other strategies in a similar type of business working with all these different markets, then I have no problem sharing as well.
Well, that's the part that was I drew to you immediately, was I saw that you understood business and you understood individual clinic operations of how you could make people more money.
Mm-hmm. And everyone loves that, right? Like, take care of patients to make more money. I think that's the goal for everyone in this space, right?
Yeah. And that's just it, is you just want more access to more people and to help more people with your products. So when I was like, hey, how can we do something together? I thought that was like an immediate, like, a good fit for us as a podcast and you as a product brand and as a partner. I was like, well, more people need to know what you're doing. And the only way to do that is get more exposure and to get better marketing, because people that don't know about your company aren't going to just like Google who you are and find you that easily. You're going to have to build the know, like, and trust effect and work with people in the network. And I think, as you grow, we grow. Mm-hmm. So I want to encourage everybody to take a look at Chris and go to r3covr.co. He is a Colorado-based business, and we're about 5 hours away from each other. He's in the Front Range. I'm over in beautiful Grand Junction. And I think it's really cool that he's giving so much content and context to how you can help your clients and your practice make more money and help more people. At this juncture, Chris, is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to share with our audience today?
I'm not sure. I think we pretty much covered everything, and I appreciate your input on from our first meeting as well. And I kind of got the same type of feeling too. It's like your goal is to improve patient care however you can, but also help businesses be successful. So I think that's probably why we connected, pretty easily at that conference.
Well, I think everybody needs to get out of their own way and go out into the world and meet people. I just was on an interview with a guy about AI. Mm-hmm. And I said, you can't forget that you still need to show up and go out and shake hands.
Yes.
And hug people and have a heart. Everyone has a heart, don't they? Mm-hmm. And I said, everybody wants to connect with their heart to other people. And I was like, whatever your business is, you can't forget to go put your boots on the ground and go out there and shake hands. And I think that everybody should go attend conferences, at least one a quarter, mm-hmm. and they should go make friends, and they should be proud of their products and what they do and build a network. And I think it was Napoleon Hill might have said this, but your network is your net worth.
Yep.
And the power of the mastermind. And, I think a lot of construct still comes from the Think and Grow Rich book that everybody should really consider checking out, because those principles are still vital today. I think that the power of the mastermind and the network are so important for the long term of anybody's business model. So, Chris, thanks for being on with me today. Your episode 740 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. Once again, go check them out. R3covr.co is his website. It's on the ticker if you're watching this, and it's on his name badge there under his name on the screen there. Really appreciate you being on with me today.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. It's been my pleasure. I love talking about this stuff. And like you said, I couldn't agree more with what you're saying about connecting with people. And, I always try to leverage all the new advances of technology and everything like that, but it still comes down to, people, working with people, trusting, and, providing value in whichever way possible.
Well, I want every chiropractor on my network to work with Chris. So at this point in the interview, if you guys are watching this, I'm going to post this everywhere, and we're going to make some social media strategy around this interview. But if you guys are watching this and you got this far, tell your friends about Chris's business, and we'll make sure that you are front and center with everybody we know. So thanks so much for supporting the Chiro Hustle Podcast, and Look forward to talking to you soon. And I close out like I always do. I tell everybody this: you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.